Okay, this is the next installment of Opry 99er Texas Instruments informational videos. In a previous video I showed you how to use the character definition program, which would have helped me a lot while I was developing some of these characters. I neglected it and didn't use the program, so I did it all by hand and by trying to look at little tiny squares on a piece of grid paper, piece of graphing paper. But anyway, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you some of the characters that I've worked on, and we're going to do one for basic. I wrote these all in basic just because these are very basic characters. Here's my disc. It's called Game Characters. Alright, very original. So we're going to slide this right into the slot here. Okay, and if you'll remember the load code for basic, OLD, disk1 dot, and I'm going to show you the knight character that I created. His name is going to be Marcus the Valiant. Okay, hit enter. The lights come on here, and when that new caret pops up, it'll be ready. There it goes. Alright, so built into my program code I have the call clear, so I'll just go ahead and run it, and the everything on the screen will clear out, and the screen will probably turn red, I think. Yep, there it goes. Sorry about the black lines again. And now what it's doing is it's calling into memory, or calling up from memory, the character. So, there's my knight. There's his name, Marcus the Valiant. And he's pretty simple. It took a little bit to get the programming done because I wasn't using my character definition program in the user basic manual. And that's him. And my program just pulls him up onto the screen and has his name, and it just sits there. So what I want to do is I want to show you how this works. If you know anything about basic programming, this is going to be old news to you, but what we're going to do is we're going to list the program, and that's going to call it up from memory. Okay, what it's doing right now, this call characters, is it's defining each one of those special characters with the 16-digit code that you can get out of the character definition program. And as you can see, I used a whole bunch. And then what I'm doing, when I'm calling the vertical characters, I'm using the rem statement for remark. There's the shield, and that way when I go back to look at my code, I know what I'm calling up. REM helps, it doesn't really have much of a function as far as your program goes. All it does is when you're looking at the code, it helps you remember what's coming next. Anytime the computer sees REM at the beginning of a statement, it skips the rest of the statement. It's just there for reference. And so as you can see, there is a bunch of vertical characters called coordinates, 1414, and then the character that I redefined, 148, 149, 150. So when you run this again, it's going to call the screen red, and then it's starting to process the information of all my definitions of my characters, and then it prints out my character, Marcus the Valiant. Okay? Anyway, that's that for Marcus the Valiant. Now what I want to do is I want to show you a new character I'm working on. Okay, we'll go back into basic. OLD to load. DSK1.repto. This is a character named Repto Slicer. My 5-year-old cousin William came up with that name. Thank you, William. So hit enter. Starts running the whole process again. Wait for the caret. There it is. So we'll run this. It's going to turn the screen black, and it'll show my character in a green. I've only got the head and his arms right now, but he's a very cool-looking character. It's very hard to see. That's going to be pretty much the top of him. And then I'm going to have flames coming out of his mouth that you can access. These are just basic artist character renderings of these characters before I put them into extended basic and use them for a program. Alright, let's show you one more.